Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pizza Hut in Bucyrus for Coach's Corner West. I am your host this evening, and Davey and his wife, Joni Jones, have put their GPS on Florida and headed south for the winter. And they'll be back sometime in probably late March, early April. Dan Messerschmidt, who normally takes over this show during this time frame of the year, is on another assignment tonight, so I will take over as the host of Coach's Corner West tonight and this week and a couple more times throughout this winter sports season. The show is brought to you in part by Doug Newholt and Adam Weisner and Associates at Advanced Fiber Technology, Coach Tim Plumley at Mohican Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation, Matt Studer at Spitzer Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Kia 1 mile east of the Richland Mall. Coming up on tonight's show a little bit later on, it'll be Abram Capel and the undefeated Lady Buckettes of Buckeye Central as they start the new year tomorrow night with a tournament-type atmosphere game. Will surely be over at Shelby. We'll talk about that. Prior to that, it'll be the Winford Royal boys basketball team and a couple of their assistant coaches and some of their players to talk about how their season might be turning around here a little bit as they head into the new year. And we'll start it all off with Bucyrus boys basketball as they start the new year with high hopes of making some names in the Northern 10 Conference. The show is brought to you by Rob Luston, Edgefield Animal Clinic, Marion, Matt Ramsey, John Ziegler, Drew Young, and Frank Heinlein and Associates at Bucyrus Blade, serving worldwide markets since 1951, as well as Roger Brown at Winks Lock and Safe, South Poplar at West Warren in Bucyrus. And it's my pleasure to welcome to the microphone assistant varsity coach, correct? You pick up the microphone there, Coach Hargis. Brian Hargis is here. Thanks so much for coming out tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You bet. So kind of taking a look at now that we're done with the holidays, are you glad that's over? Because it's just so different from the normal school environment and when practices and things like that?
A little bit. It's good to get the kids back on the schedule.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Where they're not staying up till midnight playing PlayStation.
Not sure you're going to get in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So you currently sit at 2-5 overall, 1-5 in the Northern 10 Conference, and really looking at your most recent game, it's a game that we had on our WQEL airways. It was last Wednesday, the 29th. A tough loss to Buckeye Central, a team that's very senior heavy and has been playing really good ball, albeit their record maybe hasn't shown it. And it was a situation where you fell 51-44, and really the key in looking at the statistics, they hit 6 of 7 free throws late in the game and scored the final 8 points and held you guys scoreless in the final 142 to come away with the win. How difficult was that to get through, but what lessons do you think your kids learned from that?
Well, we knew they don't turn the ball over. We knew they shoot the ball very well from the free throw line. I think they hit 19 of 23 for the night, and that proved to be the difference. But what we didn't expect was them to out-rebound us. You know, we're a smaller team,
right?
Varsity level.
Yeah, not a lot of height.
But we were matched up with them well, but they just killed us on boards.
Yeah, if you could hold that just a little. No, you're good. There you go.
And yeah, it was a tough loss. We're definitely looking forward. We gave one away last year to them, so we kind of feel like we gave 2 away to them. We're looking to meet them again.
Yeah, well, it will happen. You talk about the rebounding, yet you grabbed 5 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter, led 44-43 with 1:42, and that's when you went dry from the well.
Yep.
Was that just lack of execution, or the shots just not falling?
I think the shots just didn't fall. Like, I know Grady had a good stretch there. Joe had a nice stretch in the game. And yeah, the shots just didn't fall, and we didn't make the free throws. You know what I'm saying? They made them, and we didn't. Yeah, we didn't get to the line.
That's right. Yeah, you got to create some of that, don't you?
Right.
You shot just 5 of 17 in the final frame, and you got to get the shots. You got to get them to fall. Coach Egan had mentioned to Crawford County now, we're getting good shots.
Yeah.
We've got to make them. We've just got to do better at finishing, and that's one of the things that. There's so much that goes into a 32-minute game, but a lot of it comes down right to the end when you're playing nip and tuck because your kids have played really hard.
Both teams play real hard.
You just got to get to the end and finish it. What have you and your coaching staff really preached to the kids in the practice sessions to learn how to finish?
Well, we bring the pads out and we basically just focus on the next play. Don't focus on the last play. Move forward, expect the contact, go straight up. And just get to the rim. We got guys that get to the rim. We got 5 or 6 guys. that can get to the rim off the dribble. A lot of guys like to kind of fade, get away from contact. Buckeye didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? They were respecting the contacts. They did a good job. They just outplayed us. That's how, the coaches felt.
Well, and if you went back and looked at the tape of it, and that's where you come away, that's the message you give your kids and say, hey, we got to take it at them for sure. Grady Jackson, topped the Redmond 12 points all in the second half. What was it that he came out of the locker room and found this resurgence to want to score?
I'm not sure. We're all looking at each other like, man, we think Grady like this every quarter. He's the top team in the league, but I think it's more what they did. They switched the matchup there. He had 10 in a row on him. They switched the matchup, and that kind of slowed him down, kept him out of the paint a lot better. But like you said, we got the shots.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes. Joe Rager, 10 points, Malachi Bayless with 9, and then Eddie Dagger pulled down 8 rebounds. So when you look back, and it's really not the official first half of the year because you still have 15 games left. You haven't even played half yet. But what have you liked about this group in the first 7 games, and what are the biggest areas that you see that you need to improve on as you go through the second half of the year?
I think the most things we need to improve on is our rebounding. Free throws, rebounding, a lot of the small things. We have a lot of turnovers that are unforced. What we've done though is we've got down in the first quarter multiple games, and the kids have fought back. We got down to Winford, we got down to Michelle, we got down on Mohawk, and we dug a hole. I think our first 4 games we dug a hole every first quarter, and the kids have fought back. Last year, I don't know, there was a lot of games where we just rolled over. You know what I'm saying? So the toughness is showing, the continuity within the team, a little leadership from Grady, Mike, Eddie has helped a lot.
Yeah, well, I think, and we had that Winford game on our radio, and they got off to such a nice start.
Yes.
And you talk about it's where maybe in the past they did it fully, but you have to have been impressed and really like the resiliency to say, no, we're not accepting this anymore. We're going to come back and take care of business, which you did. So when I look at this, 15 of 22 games now after the new year, 8 of those are league games, 7 are non-league, which is, I was talking to the guys before you got here, that seems a little unusual. Usually you get those non-league out of the way early, but you have Mansfield Christian tomorrow, Ridgedale, Elgin, Crestline, Galleon, Riverdale, and Crestview all coming up on the non-league schedule. And you're going to be busy. It resembles in some ways an NBA type schedule with 8 games in January and 7 more in February. Do you like that, having that kind of bunched up and having more games in theory, the second half of the year?
I do like it. I think it kind of gives you the chance to build some momentum. You don't have that little break over Christmas, but now we can get in the league, out the league. There's a lot of matchups on the schedule we think we can win.
Absolutely.
So we're looking forward to it, especially the Seneca East.
Good, very good. We're going to take a break here, come back and talk to the kids here in just a moment. Show is brought to you by Lee Flymo and Brad Cyber, Flymo Insurance Group, Bucyrus and Galleon, Hannah Newton at Wendy's, downtown Bucyrus and Upper Sandusky, and North Central State College, Mansfield, and the Crawford Success Center in Bucyrus. And first up, pass the microphone over here. We'll go right down the table. It's junior Brock Frost. And Brock, thanks for coming out tonight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet. And what position on the team this year that you played?
I'm a forward player in the second sometimes.
Oh, okay. And mostly JV, or are you getting varsity time?
Mostly.
Okay. Yeah, spelling some guys on the varsity time. So what has been the biggest thing from you personally, not so much the team, you personally, where you've improved, even though it's only been 7 games, from the beginning to now?
I think effort has been big. I always try and keep a good effort, especially like through practices and carry-ins. It's just trying to keep the intensity up the entire time, no matter the school.
Mm-hmm. Coach Hargis here talked about rebounding and really being a focal point of what all of you need to do. And it doesn't mean that it just has to be the bigs underneath. Anybody can, even a guard can come down and get a rebound, right? So when you think about that, or when I think about it, and you guys know more about basketball than I've ever learned in my life, but a lot of it, you don't have to have a ton of talent to be a good rebounder. You have to have a want to.
Yeah, that's what especially Coach Hargis talks about, is we as a team need to value the ball and want the ball, and that is showing some of our more better games, so we really value possessions with the ball and really have good rebounding. And in other games, it just we won't have anybody to defend. We'll just chuck it up and get it out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, continued good health, good success. You got all kinds of games, all kinds of opportunities to get better coming up, and I look forward to seeing a lot of Redmond wins. So good luck to you. You bet. Next up, we have Noah Burke as a sophomore. In fact, the rest of the sophomores. Hi, Noah. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you for coming out tonight. And position you're playing on the team. When I saw your legs, and I know your dad, I got to believe you're not a point guard, right?
No, I'm a center.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. And you have a great frame for a center. And as this season's gone on, especially at the JV level, what areas do you think as a team, that JV team, even though the record, where am I looking at, 2-5 overall, where has that group gotten better, more cohesive as the season's gone on?
More playing as a team. Like we can run the plays more smoothly. We're more efficient.
Efficiency, great word. I'm glad you used that word. But there's still great opportunities with so many games left. What's the end result? What's the goal here in kind of the second half from a calendar standpoint, but not necessarily a schedule standpoint? What do you have to get accomplished?
Just try and win as many league games as we can.
And so I'm going to ask you kind of that same rebounding question. Does Coach harp on you, or Coach Egan harp on you, saying, dude, you got to get on somebody physically and you got to demand that ball?
Yeah, they do.
Now, do you feel confident that you can go in tomorrow night? You're going to go to Mansfield Christian. Are you going to take that mantra and just say, I want that ball?
Yeah, I will.
All right. Well, you get after it. I'm going to ask Coach for the statistics, and we'll see. So thanks for coming on.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
it. You bet. Kavan Combs, how are you, Kevin?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you for coming. Forward, guard?
I'm a guard.
You're a guard. Point or shooting?
Shooting guard.
Okay. What's the range? You have the green light anytime in a game to let her rip from outside the arc, or?
Of course.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
go to let her rip, right? How has your shot been this year so far?
I think it's improved over the summer.
Is it confidence thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so you feel confident that, let's say it was a 4 or 5 point game late in the game, you have the intestinal fortitude and the confidence in yourself that you'd let it go.
Yeah, I have confidence in my shot.
Okay, now will you take it to the rack as well if you have to? If
Yeah.
that's what they're making you do, you'll do that? Do you like the contact? Because
Yeah, I like
some
it.
kids, it's not that it's a bad thing, some kids just don't like it and they'll shy away from going to the rack.
No, I like going to the line. I like getting contact. All that.
What's the biggest thing that you personally have to improve on as we go through the year now?
I think I need to improve on more like communication,
How so?
like talking on defense, pointing out your man. I think I can improve on that range.
How much chatter is going on during a game?
Not much.
There should be more.
There should be a lot more. Yes.
Yeah, okay, but especially at the defensive end?
Yeah.
Okay, well, something to work on, and you don't have much time to think about it because you're going to get right back to action tomorrow night. So
Yeah.
deploy the 3-point shot and get that communication going, and things will go well. Thanks for coming, I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Finally, it's Jackson Farrar as a sophomore. Jackson, how are you?
I'm good, thank
And I bet you're big as well, correct? I mean, you're a center, right? A post? Power forward center. So do you have a little more touch than maybe a normal big would, or not necessarily so?
Like we talking shot wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable putting on the floor rather than just maybe your back to the basket and doing a turnaround?
I can. I mean, I haven't really gotten that position just yet this year, but if I had to, yeah, I could.
Okay. Defensively, how is your game defensively right now? Is it your strength or is it a little bit of your hindrance right now?
Well, I like defense. You know, I can guard straight up on someone, but I have problems with jumping at people trying to block shots. That's something you'll hear the coach tell me. Last game, I tried to block one. Immediately, you stay on the ground. That's just something I gotta get used to.
So maybe where they're deploying a fake or something, you're leaping and getting after it. How's the footwork from an offensive standpoint? Do you feel pretty good with your footwork?
Yeah, it's mostly my shot.
Okay,
Like up close. I'm fading away right now, and I need to be going in farther.
gotcha. Okay. Well, good luck. Thanks for coming out, and hopefully more wins for you. All right, if you pass that down, I appreciate that. And we'll come back and finish up here with Coach here in just a moment. Our show is brought to you in part by who we have here? Vince Ponziani and Associates at Wakecraft Industries, Rod Steiger and Associates at Pizza Hut, Bucyrus Gallion, host of our show since 1992, the Burkhardt family at the Burkhardt Farm Sales, your Case IH dealer on the New Winchester Road. And Coach, appreciate the comments from the guys, and they're pretty accurate as far as you're concerned, I'm sure, right?
They are. I'm curious to see tomorrow's game.
So
They know what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Which is good to hear. It's good to hear them say it. It's like Kavan, he's just quiet. Brock, he's our glue guy. He's always in the right spot. And we know we're going to get from Brock. Noah, he's improved a lot. He's got a lot better.
So you have, kind of some fodder now tomorrow night to say, remember what you guys said at Pizza Hut last night? I heard it with my own ears. Why aren't you putting that in place? Or, hey, great job, you're doing what you said you were going to do. So good for them. I mean, I thought they all brought really great insight. JV standpoint, as I mentioned, 2-5 overall, 1-5 in the Northern Penn Conference. Where does that team have to get better here as we go through January? Because let's face it, nobody's ever going to remember the championship in JV, but they are the foundation of your future.
Yeah, we expect all four of these guys to compete for varsity next year. But as far as this year, it's like Kavan said, our communication is probably the biggest thing. We're the quietest team. We're out there until we get steel. We don't talk that well, and we're boxing out. We're not really carving space.
I see.
We're not really going and getting the ball. Those are two things that we need to improve on. We don't have a problem scoring. We don't have a problem getting in our sets and running our plays. It's more of it's like the small things, the things you shouldn't have a bad night on. The rebounding, the communication. Like you said, you don't have to have a whole lot of skill.
That's right.
To do those two things.
That's right. It's a one-two. It's that big muscle right in that chest that allows you to do that. But that's also part of the maturation and the learning process of young student athletes that are learning the game at the high school level. And that's why you have a JV team, and that's why these kids get that opportunity. So next year and beyond, they're ready to take it at the next level. And I think that's what you and your staff are doing. You don't have a freshman team. You mentioned just one freshman that's in the program. Do you know how the junior high program is doing at this point?
The 8th grade is doing pretty well. They're about 500. I don't think the 7th grade won a game.
Okay.
They're kind of in between. They're trying to find the ball handler. They don't have a whole lot of height. The kids, they're great kids down there. They're doing well. They're working hard, which is all we can expect.
That's right.
You never know who's going to turn into a player or how better your team's going to do within themselves.
Yeah, it's the physical and mental maturity that comes over the years that'll really tell the difference for sure. Great. Well, as we mentioned, you got a whole bunch of games coming up tomorrow night. Mansfield Christian over at the Inferno, a team that's 2-6 overall, 1-2 in the Mid-Buckeye Conference, not having the best of years, but playing at that place, which is a dangerous place to play, kind of a unique place to play. They're going to be a dangerous team. What do you know about them? What have you seen from them on film so far?
We've seen them last year. We know, they got basically the same squad. They got the big guys, 6'8". They got the quick point guard. He's fast. We got to keep him out of the lane. But it's really within ourselves. We do what we expect to do. Play within ourselves. We take care of the ball. We think we'll have a good night tomorrow.
And then Saturday, you go back on the road. You go to Seneca East, and I think that probably that probably rounds out the first round of the Northern Penn. A team that's struggling to some extent, 3-6 overall, 0-5 in the Northern 10.
Yeah.
But they have the Northern 10 leading scorer in Isaac Mason, who can put it up from Bloomville or Attica or wherever he happens to be. What would be kind of the game plan to get him not shut down? Because there's nobody that's been able to shut him down to neutralize him a little bit.
With a kid like that, you got to stay in front of him. You got to make him shoot over him. He likes to do that. We got a good defender in Brady. We got Eddie Dagger. Those are the guys we're kind of planning on sticking to Mason. When he puts the ball on the ground, everybody's got to feel the pain. Everybody's got to be helping on the ball handler. I think that's going to be a good matchup. I'm excited for Saturday. Not overlooking Mason.
Sure.
But Mason, the way he's putting up numbers, I think Brady's going to be a tough matchup for him.
Yeah.
He's improving the defense a lot. And as a team, we're talking a lot. We're thinking that we're outside a lot better. Our rotations are looking tighter. So I think we have the advantage on Saturday.
good. And then 1 week from tonight, you go down to Old, Northern Kent Foe and Ridgedale, another unique place to play because of just the size of that gym. Another team that's struggling, 1-7 and 0-2 in the Northwest Central Conference. So you look at that, you guys got a great opportunity to get 3 wins, and that would say a lot for turning the corner and really kind of setting the table for what the rest of this year is concerned about. I know you want to take it one game at a time, but certainly some great opportunities in a span of 7 days for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And we're just, like you said, one game at a time. But we know we're better than last year. We just got to show up and we got to prove it.
That's it. The proof is in the pudding. Yes, sir. Well, guys, thanks for coming out tonight. I wish you the very best of luck. Stay healthy, and perhaps we'll see you back yet this year. And thanks a lot for giving your time.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break here. It's the Winford Royals boys basketball team coming up right after this. We'll be right back.